Scenes of floods after a heavy rain is a common sight in areas of Kampala. Low-lying areas turn into big lakes following a heavy downpour. Slums, wetlands in Kampala and its suburbs are always the most affected, with water gushing into people's houses. Over 60% of Kampala's population stay in slums. Residents in affected areas resort to scoop water out of their houses with buckets, basins and anything available. Other times the water levels rise so high, washing away properties and forcing hundreds of residents to abandon their houses and businesses. Household property worth millions of shillings and merchandise in many of the roadside shops and restaurants get destroyed in the flood. Commercial premises remain abandoned as tenants fear that the foundations of the buildings may have been compromised by the floods, which leave businesses paralyzed most of the hours or even days. Many of the flood victims are low-income earners. Sometimes the water levels rise up to above knee level at some places, denying people access to the main roads as the roads remain impassable. Other times, the school-going children and residents in affected areas are left with no other than wading through the water to drier grounds to get to school and workplaces respectively. When the water enter and fill the classrooms, studies are interrupted. Sometimes the students are deployed to scoop water out in order to have lessons. Many roads around Kampala city get submerged, paralyzing traffic. Several cars that are unable to navigate through the water are seen abandoned in the middle of the roads. Many boda cyclists carrying passengers force way through the waters. In 2013, 2 people were killed after the motorcycle they were riding on was swept away by floods during an afternoon downpour. The victims were the boda operator and a client, Brenda Owomuntu, a cashier at Barclays Bank, who were riding in the rain on the Katwi-Kalatunsi Road when the motorcycle was suddenly swept away in the flood. Several efforts have been made by the government to improve the drainage system in Kampala. Though the efforts have not yielded much impact in reducing floods in the city, the flood water run through rubbish pits and toilets, which later cause outbreaks of waterborne diseases like diarrhea, cholera etc. This is a big public health concern, especially in the suburbs, and calls for flood preventive measures to be put in place. Proposed Flood Eradication Project. The Flood Eradication Project constitutes of a network of water channels emptying into constructed underground water tanks. The collecting water is then driven out by water pumps to be emptied into a water lagoon. Activities: 1. Construction of underground water tanks at different points where water channels can empty into, in selected flooding areas. 2. Construction of water pump rooms and installation of water pumps to empty the tanks. 3. Digging up pipelines for laying pipes that lead pumped rainwater into lagoon. 4. Construction of large lagoons to collect the rainwater. 5. Installation of wire mesh at different points along the water channels to protect garbage coming along with the rainwater from entering into the underground water tanks. This mesh is put the collecting tunnel formed but emptying channels that now leads rainwater into the tanks. The wire mesh should be of different sizes, to sieve the garbage that would enter into the underground water tanks. This idea of flood-free project was invented by Lagoon Justin. I am a Ugandan. You can reach me on telephone numbers +256 7854 24174, or +211 954 062 or on email address at loumceon@gmail.com, or on Facebook at facebook.com/loumceon.